What's up guys, you're watching India Today Tech. I'm Rahul Sethi, and in this video I'm going to unbox the Galaxy A30. This is literally the fourth smartphone I'm unboxing from Samsung this week. Samsung has been on a launching spree. It has launched tons and tons of smartphone at MWC as well, and a few more are on the way. Right now we have the A30, which is a cheaper variant of the A50 that I unboxed, and you might want to check out the unboxing of that. Here's the link of that phone flashing on your screen. Anyways, for now, let's quickly unbox the A30 and find out how different it is from the A50 and what all differences are there compared to the M30 as well, because the price is going to be closer to the M30 and so will be the specifications. So let's quickly take the phone out of the box. The major specifications are mentioned at the back. It has a 4000 mAh battery, a dual camera setup at the back, and an AMOLED panel with 6.2 inch screen size or 6.4 inch as mentioned on the box. Both of the sizes are mentioned, and the fact that it has a 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage. Anyways, let's quickly pull the phone out of the box. First up, we have a small box. So Samsung is bundling cases with the A series, which it did not with the M series. So that is quite a nice thing. At first, we have a quick start guide both in English and Hindi. Tells you how to set up the smartphone, additional lock guide that tells you the phone is locked for the Indian SIM, and warranty card that states the warranty of the smartphone is 1 year. Let me also figure out the SAR value if it's mentioned on the quick start guide. Yeah, so the SAR value is 0.413 watt per kg for head, which is quite a good value. Then the plastic case is a TP1, bendable and not a hard case, and will protect the phone from scratches. Alright, so this is the phone. Let me keep it aside and take a look at the box contents. Samsung is also bundling earphones, although they're not something very amazing. They're just very basic earphones, as you can see, and don't have mounted volume controls as well. They just have call control and a microphone at the back side. So very basic pair of earphones you get with the smartphone. Next you have a Type-C USB cable, which is again good in quality but not very long. And then you have the travel adapter that has 15 watt of output rating, which is standard across M series and A series smartphones except the M10. Lastly, there is a SIM ejector tool. Alright, now let's open up the A30 and see the design, which is going to be similar to the A50, although it feels a little heavier despite having the same battery. And this, as Samsung calls the glass stick design, is very similar to the A50. You'll see the phone is built out of plastic. It's not metal, but it's given a very glossy feel, and so it is called the glass stick material. This is not very different from what we see on phones like the Realme 2 Pro or the Zenfone Max Pro M2. They have a very reflective, shiny back, but they are overall made out of plastic. The A30 is also very similar, and compared to the A50, it has a physical fingerprint scanner at the back. On the A50, it's placed inside the display, but overall you'll see the build quality and build material on both the smartphones is very similar. Both of them have a very similar weight and size. They both have a 6.4 inch display as well. Anyways, at the bottom you get a headphone jack, Type-C USB port, primary microphone and speaker, and at the top you get the secondary microphone for noise cancellation. The tray on the left side gives you triple slots to expand the storage and add 2 SIM cards as well. The phone has a dual camera setup at the back and a single camera at the front, with the earpiece placed between the phone body and the display, and the volume rocker and the lock button are placed on the right side and have a very good feedback, very similar to the A50. So the overall design on the smartphone is quite appealing for its price tag, and it may not be built very solid or out of premium materials, but it does feel very premium. Anyways, as I turn up the smartphone, you take a look at the full specifications of the A30. Alright, so I've set up the smartphone, and as you will see, in no way it looks different from the A50, at least from the front. You'll see it has a Super AMOLED panel which has great brightness levels and contrast, and if I keep the A50 side by side, you won't be able to tell the difference. They have the same design, the same display, and even the display size is same. So from the front you can't even figure out the difference between the two smartphones. Of course, the chipset between the two phones is very different, so that will affect the performance slightly, but otherwise the A30 looks like a good value for money. The display glass is not from Corning, but it is smooth nonetheless, and if you take a look at the brightness levels of the display, they are also quite nice. You do get an automatic brightness sensor embedded beneath the display, and let me blast the brightness to full. So as you can see, the display is quite nice, it's very bright, and the viewing angles are also quite nice on the display. So it will be a great phone to use outdoors and indoors as well. Although it appears to me that A50 has a slightly better viewing angles and contrast as well, but the difference is not very high. I mean, the difference is very minor and it won't really matter much. Although the good part is that both the phones are running One UI, which is great. I mean, this is the latest UI from Samsung, and that is put on the Galaxy S10 as well. So this is the premium software from Samsung and offers you great experience. There are not only new features, but there are some facial upgradations, like the keyboard, as you will notice, has been given a new look and is now much easier to use with better key spacing, and the icon pack, as you can see, is different this time around. Also, the notification bar and the drop down menu is also nicely done. You can definitely reduce the icon size if it appears to be very big, but in case you like this and you find this to be readable, this is surely an option that Samsung has provided this time around with its One UI. Also, the phone has always on display like the S10, and since it's an AMOLED panel, this is going to be quite a nice feature on this device. The display mode can be switched from tap to show always, so the always on display will appear on. That has a very faint but high contrast visible light, so it doesn't strain the battery and shows you all the information without unlocking the phone, like a missed call alert or notifications, time and battery information, which is quite cool. Also, you can customize it for various aspects, like to show music information and its orientation as well, and the time it should be visible on the screen. And there's also an option to use navigation gestures, which you can switch from the settings menu, and which is not very similar to what you get on the iPhone, but you do have an option there to use gestures for navigation. It's not very smooth, it's not very refined, but yes, it's available nonetheless. Alright, now let's talk about the processor on the Galaxy A30. It's the Exynos 7885, which is very similar to the 7904 used on the Galaxy M20 and M30. It has 6 cores and you can compare it with the Snapdragon 636, although Snapdragon 636 is a more powerful processor than this one, so you can say it's a notch below, and hence the performance of the A30, I am skeptical of it. It may not be as good as what you get on phones like the Nokia 6.1 Plus, for example, or the Redmi Note 6 Pro or the upcoming Redmi Note 7. I feel that it may not be able to run graphic intensive games or multitask that heavily, although I'll have to test it fully before I can say anything concretely. Alright, now let's move on to the camera part, which you must have been waiting for since long. This phone has a 16 megapixel camera at the front and at the back as well. The primary camera has 16 megapixel resolution, and this is accompanied by an ultra wide sensor at the back side. The setup is similar to the Galaxy M30. The only difference is in the primary sensor on the rear camera, which could be slightly better. Anyways, the camera application is also very similar to the Galaxy S10. You see there is button to switch between wide angle and normal, and there are several modes given on the device. Also, now let me quickly take a selfie and see how the front camera on this one performs. So the front camera on this one is quite nice. I did not turn off the beauty mode, but still I think it's not overly brightening or smoothing my face, and the skin tones are quite preserved. It's not very nicely preserved, but they are quite good. Let me turn off the beauty mode and take another photo. Alright, so now it's looking more real, and the colors, as you can see, are nicely captured by the phone. So the front camera on the A30 appears to be quite amazing, and I wasn't expecting it to be this nice. Also, the shutter speed is quite fast, so the photo is not blurred. It's very sharp and clean and clear. But let me use it in low light situations to find out if the shutter speed is equally usable and gives out clean photos. So here it is. Also, here are the samples taken from the rear camera of the smartphone. So this is the Galaxy A30 guys, quite a nice device, very ergonomic, fits in the hands perfectly because of its curved back, has a very nice design although the build is plastic. The display on the phone is also quite amazing. The overall contrast, color production and viewing angles on the phone is also quite nice. And then again, the front and the rear camera of the smartphone also appear to be quite good. But the only thing that I'm skeptical of right now is the performance. It uses a budget segment chipset which may not be as amazing as other phones in this price segment. Do let me know what you think about this phone in the comment section below, and if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to get latest videos on technology, smartphones and other gadgets like this. Thank you for watching.